Hey everyone, Paul Johnson, Waconia, Minnesota, and the Laughing Trout Fly Tying Club. Today I'm going to be tying my red and black Prince Charming. This is just another variation of the Prince Charming. I've done a couple of videos, a purple one and also a pink one. This was a new fly for me in the 2021 trout season. Every time I put it on, I caught fish, and it's just been a staple all year, and it's never going to leave my fly box. So it's tied on a size 14 scud hook. The tail or the shuck is mayfly brown Zealand, a crinkled Zealand. The body is red bug legs from Fly Tier's Dungeon. The rib is black wire, size brassy. The traditional Prince Nymph wings of white goose biots. And then it does have a very pronounced collar with a grizzly rooster hackle. So let's get started here. Got the bead on my hook already. It's a size 14 scud hook, as I mentioned. For thread, I got some 14-aught red. I like to try to match the thread for the color of the fly because it'll bleed through a little bit. So just get that thread started. I've got a length of Zealand. And with this, all I'm trying to do is get it tied in so it stays right on top of the hook shank. And this is the crinkled stuff, so if you pull it tight, you can actually straighten it out a little bit. So I'll wrap that down part way down the bend. Again, keeping it right on top of the hook shank. And then I'll bring my thread back up to right behind the bead. And I'll come in and I'll cut that to about a hook gap in length. And as I pull it tight to that length, it'll crinkle back a little bit. So next I'll tie in a length of wire. Mentioned it's black, size brassy. And I'm going to tie it in on my side of the hook, and I want to keep it right parallel to the hook shank. Don't want it moving around on me, because you would see that with the wraps of this bug legs that we put on next. Alright, so I've got a red bug legs. This is a standard size. They do sell it in small and a couple other sizes, but this is the standard bug legs. And as I wrap that in, I am pulling it a little bit tight, and again, just keeping it right in line with the hook shank. And I'm going to make thread wraps back up to the bead, and again, just trying to keep a nice smooth underbody there. Throw a half hitch in my tying thread, swing my bobbin cradle around and hang my tying thread. I'll use my rotary feature on my vise to wrap this bug legs. So I apologize, this does get a little bit wonky with the camera. But if I wrapped it overhand, my fingers would be in the way too. So just take your time. What we want to do here is have touching turns. We don't want any gaps, and we don't want any overlap. Got to kind of work your way around that bend of the hook, and it'll get a little bit easier to do that. As in coming around the hook point, make sure we avoid that. And we're going to continue wrapping that all the ways up to the bead. And right behind the bead, I can tie that off. Come in there and cut that excess off. And then I'm going to counter wrap that black wire, just no reason, other direction other than habit. I just always counter wrap my wire. Keep my fingers out of the way. Just even spaced wraps. I tried this with gold wire and silver wire, and I think the black wire against that red body just stands out the best. Then tie that off right behind the bead. And you can helicopter that off, or I just like to use fingernail clippers and cut it off, come in with my thumbnail and push it down smooth. Alright, so I got 2 goose biots. Cut them off, the curlies off of them. And then make my little angel wings. See that? Okay, so I've got them in my right hand. What I'm going to do now is and I'm okay with how they look They're overlapping nicely. I'm going to transfer those into my left hand, and then I'm going to hold them up at about a 45-degree angle and let my tying thread get a hold of them and pull them right in on top of the hook shank. A little bit off here, so we'll straighten them out a little bit. All right, looks pretty good. I'll come in and cut those off as close as I can. All right, so for the hackle, this is a size 14 hook. I've actually sized my hackle to a size 16. So saddle hackle size 16. And we're going to make 3 complete wraps. And tie that off. Cut that excess feather off, and then I can whip finish. There we have it, the completed red and black Prince Charming. So how do you fish it? Well, primarily is going to be 2 ways for me. One is going to be under an indicator or as a dropper underneath a hopper or another big attractor dry fly like a Trout or a stimulate or something like that. So there it is, the red and black Prince Charming. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.